Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming out in this weather. Welcome to the community listening sessions for Council Member District 4, Tim Adams. I just appreciate everyone showing up and just coming out to be with us this evening. I am going to turn it over to Councilmember Adams for introductions.
When the mic is on, it's even better. Well, I would first like to uh, thank some of our esteemed colleagues for being here this evening. I'd like to thank Council Member Eric Olson for joining us this evening. I'd like to thank Delegate Kim Taylor for being here this evening. And from the County Council, we have the Mayor, Michael C. He's working right now. Yeah. Uh, Mayor Pro Tem, DeFur Wolfe, uh, Councilmember Wanda Rogers, and if there's anyone I missed, please blame it on my head and not my heart. At this time, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how we're going to do this. We want to be able to have an opportunity for you to talk about what the issues are that you see. Now, this is a listening session, so we're not going to try and answer the questions tonight. We will put out answers to all the questions. We will get back and produce that. But in fairness to people, we don't want to um, try and answer everything because we could get into the weeds on some of the issues and take up all the time. So we want everybody to have a chance to come up, speak, tell us what's on your mind. We're fortunate to have Council Member Eric Olson here because our districts kind of overlap in places, and so I want to make sure that you have an opportunity, if need be, to talk to him as well. And I thank him for being here. And I really thank the Bowie City Council for being here. That's so important. And again, I want to thank you for being here. So, with that said, Councilmember Olson.
Oh, yeah, I just appreciate the invite. It's terrific to serve with Tim, and I have the honor of being vice chair this year, and we've done a lot together already.
Yes.
And he really came in and hit the ground running. He really did. I mean, it's been a short, it's kind of a sprint, and now we're in in budget season, and that's always a lot of work that goes into the budget and reviewing the budget. But he's asking all the right questions of the agencies, and certainly is looking out for your interests here in Bowie and in District 4. So it's a pleasure serving with you, and thank you for inviting me. I look forward to hearing the questions.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman. All right, I will turn it back over to you.
Okay. And good evening again. I am Lene White. I'm your meeting facilitator this evening. And we have two people who would actually like to come up and ask a question. I'm going to have them to come up first. You have 2 minutes to either speak or ask a question if you like. And the first two are Lakeisha Davis and Valerie Epps, if you are still here. And the clock, I believe, is in front of you. Okay. No clock today, but that's about your time limit. Please come on up.
Come on then.
We love to hear from you. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening. My name is Lakeisha Davis, and I'm out in the Forest Gate community in Glendale, and I'm a part of the HOA there. And we recently had a meeting, and some of our neighbors have complained about 311 and the lack of the responses or the turnaround time. In particular, the issues are the conditions of our sidewalks. We have reported it to 311. The county even came out, took a look at our streets, and that was like in 24 and 25, and we haven't had any response or follow up since then. The other issue that they're complaining about is the electrical grid and the amount or the frequency, how often the power goes out during storms. And and the last one is the condition of our county trees along Good Luck Road. So that's all I have for you.
Hey, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I really have a question in terms of really needing a report or an update of the county's water situation. I was very dismayed this morning when I got up to feed my dog to give him some water, and I went to the kitchen sink, and the water was brown. Then we went back into I went into my two bathrooms, and the water is brown. I thought we were finished with that problem because a while back, some pipes were laid on my street, and I was very pleased with that. And I had been having a backup with water into my kitchen sink, and into my um, utility room and the washer and dryer, and that hadn't happened in a while. So it looks like we're back. I hope we're not back where we started with me having to call a plumber to try to, I thought it was my fault or something, and they would always ask me, what did you put in the sink and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't my fault, only to find out that this is a city problem. So I thought we were finished with that, and we're going back with it again. I also was disappointed when my son called the the city water office to find out what was going on, and only to find out that the young lady that answered the phone had no idea as to what was going on, no update, when will it stop, when will it not, and what's going on. So I still don't know, when the water is still brown, a little lighter than it was, but it's still brown, as to what the problem is going to be, and whether I should use my ice maker, or when is the problem going to stop. And I just think an alert needs to go out into the neighborhood to let people know what's happening and what to expect.
Hey, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Siobhan, do we have anyone here that can address water this evening? Do we have anyone here from?
Yeah, but- oh.
Yes, would you like to? Thank you.
Hi, I'm DeFort Wolfley. I'm with the City of Bowie City Council, and I'll just chime in really quickly on the water issue. This is a known problem, an ongoing problem. We have had some water breaks. As a matter of fact, a big line that went under 450, we've actually had to close it off because it was really a terrible mess, and that has to be replaced. That was an emergency basis. I think it's going to cost about $150,000, $170,000 to fix. The problem is persistent. It's going to be around for a while. This year, we're spending about $7.5 million for repairs in the coming fiscal year for replacing water lines. Problem is the water lines are all interconnected, so even a neighborhood that may have otherwise good pipes, water will kind of slosh around and will come in from other sections. We'll take a look. I have your address, or at least your street. We'll follow up and we'll see what we can do. And we're looking also for long-term what we can do to expedite the repairs that are necessary for the pipes. The reality is this is going to be probably a decade or more before we're completely finished doing all the water repairs, and it's expensive. It's $1.7 million or $1.2 million just to repair 1 mile of pipe, and we have 90 miles. So this is going to be a long-term proposition, but we are moving it, and we'll take a look and see if we can learn anything about what happened in your instance. People should be more aware when your son phone. Pardon. When your son phone. I'm all choked up. Your son should have gotten more answers. So we'll leave it at that. It's the water. So anyway. So we'll leave it at that. And thank you. I apologize for. And I do
Thank you.
apologize. My colleague and I, we have to leave because we have a council session starting in 12 minutes. So we have to get off to that location. So thank you all very much. I do apologize.
Hey, one of the things I do want to say about that, and I won't speak much on any issues, is the water issue, something that's been around for a while. The one thing we did was we started addressing the brown water, the pipe issue, differently than it had been in the past. In the past, there was a decision to repair the pipes by charging just the residents in a certain area. And we felt that, as you often hear me say, one Bowie, one city, that we got together and we started repairing the pipes everywhere. And we started finding whatever money we had to help with that as well. So know that we've been trying to do, well, when I was on the council, and they're still doing it now, and I will try to do it from the county council, is to make sure that we can do that. And, that's where that whole process of having the filters, if you get it, if you got brown water, you're supposed to make a call, and then we'll come out. Well, the city will come out and check it out. And if you are one of those unfortunate to have the brown water coming out, we will reimburse to get a filter. So that's something we started a few years back, and I think it's been very helpful. And we thought things had calmed down, but it's going again, and we need to make sure that we get people back to reporting it and trying to make sure that we address those issues as they come up. Hey, thank you. Council members, thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you, council member. Okay, we do have some questions. The people who wrote the questions didn't want to come up, so I am going to read the questions for them so that everyone can be on the same accord. So one of the first questions that we received is, I am a veteran. What are we doing to support small businesses for veterans? What are we doing to support small businesses for veterans?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I will just chime in. I have co-sponsored a bill to address that, where we will be addressing and supporting our veteran-owned businesses here in Prince George's County. So we're doing that now, actively looking to get that into law. So we're on top of that now. So I won't go into it much more than that, but that's one that I'm very, very proud to have done with my colleague Shayla. Yeah, help me. Yeah, I don't like to say, I was going to say Stafford, because whenever I say Adams, they say, oh, y'all related? Well, anyway, Kayla Adams Stafford and I are writing this bill to set up a special a special program for our veterans. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you, council member. And I would say to the person who asked that question, what you would want to do is to follow the legislation by tuning into council sessions. And if you do not know how to do that, on your way out, if you could see the ladies at the front desk, they'll be able to give you a link. And then that way you can stay engaged, stay informed. Also, make sure that you are on Councilmember Adams' email list, serve list, so that as he does things and he provides updates to his communities, you're engaged, and then you'll know when all of that's happening, and then you'll be able to get whatever resources you may need. That's just a small suggestion. Okay, our next question is regarding teachers. This person has a concern. I'm assuming that she is a teacher, he or she is a teacher, and they have a concern about the cost of pensions being pushed back to the county. Will that be funded? Is the question.
And again, we're not going to try and answer all the questions tonight, but we will get that information back to you. Did you want to add anything? Good.
Only that, we have also, we've been concerned about that being pushed onto the, county as well. Although I will say that we also have gotten, and Kim Taylor is here from the House of Delegates, we are getting a disparity grant, which is going to give us significantly more money. So, it's a little bit of a push and pull. Obviously, it had always been a state function previously to fund the teacher pensions. But we will all work together, the state and the county.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Councilmember Olson. These are really great questions, and I can understand the concerns. This one impacts all of us. It says, as seniors, we are really concerned about our taxes. What is the council doing? That's pretty much a question that we hear at every session. I'm not sure if Councilmember Adams wants to address that, but
Yeah,
that's always a question.
Yeah, we address that constantly. I guess that's the best way to put it. Yeah, it's something we have to make sure that we follow up on and understand the impacts of what we're doing. Council.
Yeah, no, I think that, obviously every council member understands that, we do want to provide more relief to our seniors on taxes. We have attempted to, last year, we attempted to do a tax credit. The budget was so bad that we were asked by the then county executive to pull that back. We are committed to looking at that again. But we had like $171 million budget deficit last year. This year it's a 59, I think, $1 million deficit that had to be closed. So we're trending in the right direction, but we need to make sure that we're balancing everything. So we certainly do want to tackle that as soon as we can, though.
Okay. This is definitely a concern as we, oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Delegate.
Delegate
Kim
Kim
Taylor.
Taylor, on the state level, our Senator Watson proposed a bill that would eliminate taxes pretty much after you're age 80. With the
Right.
same budget issues we have at the state, that one didn't pass either. But that's a bill that will keep coming back over and over. Because quite frankly, our seniors are the fastest growing population in Maryland and across the country. And if we don't do something to help support our seniors, and we want them to stay in Maryland, so we got to do something. So anyway, I just wanted to chime.
Hey, thank you, Kim. Delegate. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you so much. This is certainly an issue as we move towards the summer. Loud pool parties, what can the council do for that before, or if the council member wants to speak, I would say I'm sure there is a noise ordinance, so after a certain hour, not 911, but your non-emergency number, you do want to make sure that you call the 911, call the non-emergency number to report that. Councilmember Adams, did you?
Yeah, and that's something we're taking up actually right now as well, to try and limit those parties and make sure that if they are, that we have constraints on them as well. So that's something we're looking at. Actually, right now, we're trying to pass some legislation to actually address the parties and trying to close out those loopholes of where those parties are and how they're taking place. So we are actively addressing that right now.
Okay, and for that person that asked that question, again, you want to make sure that you're engaged and that you're receiving the newsletters and that you're on the listserv and that you also tune into council as well. The next question, when it is an HOA issue, where can we go for our concerns? When it is an HOA issue, where can we go for our concerns?
Yeah, go ahead. You can do
Yeah, and obviously it depends on what the issue is. However, there is a county office of common ownership communities that, which can help with advice and sometimes can help with other things. Um, it's a lot of the HOA issues are state issues, frankly, and we have, at least in my district, I know we've engaged the Office of the Attorney General on certain HOA issues. I mean, it depends on what the issue is, of course, but I know Karen Strawn is somebody in the Attorney General's office who takes the lead on a lot of HOA issues. So, you know, that's you could start with the common ownership communities office at the county, or certainly go to Councilmember Adams' staff. I know Denise Mitchell is here as well, and I'm sure she fields a lot of those questions in your office.
Yeah. Go get them, Kim.
No, well, the good news is that we have Delegate Marvin Holmes as your delegate, as one of your delegates. And Delegate Holmes has been the chair of the Real Property Committee in the state for many, many years. This is the first year he hasn't been that chair in I guess, 15 years or so. But he is our resident expert for HOAs and all things having to do with common ownership. So he also serves on the Common Ownership Commission at the state level. So he is a great resource for you for HOA issues. And you can start with me if you want. And if I can't help you, then I always go to Delegate Holmes for help. So, and I have my information here too if you need to reach out to me.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you so much. This question is for, it says specifically for Councilmember Olson. It's, the question is, what can you share with us about the budget?
Okay. Glad I'm here. Glad I'm here. Did you ask this question?
I didn't set you up.
What can I tell you about the budget? Well, the proposed budget from the county executive is $5.9 billion, which is a 2% increase over FY26. So about 60% of the budget is for education. And then another 20% is public safety. So that's 60, 70, 80. That's 80% of the budget right there is education and public safety. And then the rest, environment and infrastructure and, all the other things, economic development, all comes out of the remaining 20%. We do have increases that we're investing into public safety, funding for 150 new police recruits and 100 fire EMS recruits. We're increasing modestly, expanding litter removal and beautification programs, investments in clean lot enforcements, and some other areas like that. Yeah, we have the budget is huge. So, there's a lot of things that we're dealing with and trying to make sure that we're getting right in the budget. Like I had mentioned before, we've overcome a $58 million deficit when the county executive sent that budget to us. But we're trying to balance the budget that continues to invest in public safety, education, and neighborhood quality of life issues.
Yeah.
So, I know you don't want me to go on too long, but that's kind of the broad overview. of the budget, and we will be looking to pass a budget the end of May, and then the new fiscal year starts July 1.
Thank you.
Yes.
And if I may, you know, we have a lot of issues here in Bowie, you know, and the city is talking about what they have to do here, and they're talking about they may do budget cuts and they may have to do tax increases and a lot of different things. But I look to be able to help them, to help our city get past some of these financial woes and see what we as a council can do to make sure we help. And we've already put some things in to the budget to help the city, and we're going to do more. We're going to do more. So I look forward to being able to help with the budget and to help the city be able to create some economic span where we can raise more money without having to max out raising taxes. So I just did want to say that. And you know, we just recently co-proposed my first piece of legislation. And, you know, it's important that we understand that our county council has to work together. You know, and that's what we're doing. That's why Councilman Olson is here tonight. You know, we're making sure that we do everything we can to put on a united front to make sure that we get as much as we can to Prince George's County, and that we make sure that we work together to make that happen. And so I've been pretty pleased with the reception and how we've kind of made some strides to really get some things done. So having said that, I'll turn it back over. Anything else you want to add, since that was your question?
Now, I'll just say, though, with Delegate Kim Taylor in the audience here, that we are very grateful and lucky to have the new Speaker of the House is Jocelyn Pena Melnick, who happens to be one of my delegates, and she's from Prince George's County. And the Appropriations Chair is Ben Barnes, who is also a Prince George's County delegate, also one of my delegates. Those are both very important positions, and they are working very hard, and you have brought back with your colleagues a real significant amount of funding to the county that we are very grateful for, and that's going to be helping us with our budget and helping us with projects that are going to enhance the quality of life for Prince Georgians, you know, from every corner of the county. So that is significant, very significant.
Thank you, council members. The next question, what steps will the council member take to address traffic and road conditions on Racetrack Road?
You know, Racetrack Road is an interesting, I don't want to say dilemma, but an interesting, very positive issue for it. Because as you know, the city now owns the racetrack property. And one of the things that historically we had said is that we would not do any kind of dense development there. So we're not going to be adding dense development in that area, so we won't be having any real problems with Racetrack Road. But what we do need to do is, like so many roads, make sure we make sure that our roads are fixed. Make sure that we improve the quality of life in so many of our roads and our sidewalks. And I was talking with Councilmember Olson a little earlier about separating, you know, road repair and sidewalk repair. You know, to make sure particularly for the sidewalk repair, that we could get to it quicker. You know, one of the things I'm working on is trying to make sure that we can address the sidewalks um, quickly. And I want to say that what we know from past experience and just overall is for our seniors, if they trip on the sidewalk, you know, it's not that they could just fall. It could be life threatening to them. And so I'm actually working on something right now to address that issue. And so we're looking to do that. So that is a issue we have, and it is something we'll do for the sidewalk. But we also need to make sure that we take a racetrack road and it doesn't become a speedway. Okay. Huh? What's that? Well, we're not going to be racing cars. Hey, thank you. Okay. Hey, yes. Yes. Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much. The next question is, what future funding is there to improve the Saddlebrooks South Park, which is run by Maryland Parks and Planning? I'm not sure if we have an answer for that right now.
So, the question is,
What future funding is there to improve it?
okay, and that's something we need to look at from our legislators but also to make sure where it is, if it's park and planning, we can address that, and we will. And we just need to have it. And that's why we take these questions, we go back, we get answered, and we make sure that we will be putting out answers for you. Every question will have answers. Every question. And so we will address that and make sure we provide you answers on it. Okay? Go ahead.
If I could, not to, I mean, I'm not familiar with the facility, not being from, you know, in District
Yeah.
4, but, you know, that may be something that you would contact, you know, your staff and what exactly are the issues that need improvement at that park and planning facility. And then, you know, the council member can approach park and planning to, you know, address those issues. I mean, depending on what the issue is, you know,
Yeah.
it might be a small amount, or maybe something that's an actual big budget issue.
Yes,
Hey,
so
thank-
with that being said, that's something that I believe Councilmember Olson is saying, that you could email his office for a response if it's more specific than what I read. If what I read is sufficient, after, I'm not sure exactly at what point, but I do know with the previous listening sessions, all the questions will be answered, and the questions and answers will be sent out to everyone. So again, you want to make sure that your name and your contact information is provided to his staff, so that if you're not receiving correspondence, you want to make sure that you are, so that you're stay engaged, okay?
And excuse me, but
Yes, sir.
I'd like to at this time have my staff introduce themselves.
Okay.
And Siobhan, call Marie.
Hi. Good evening, everyone, and thank you again for coming. My name is Siobhan Colmer-Reed, and I am Council Member Chief of Staff in District 4. And I'm proud to be here and joined by my other colleagues. I'll have them come along and introduce themselves as well.
Hi, Good evening. My name is Jabina Brown. I serve as council member Adams Policy and Communications Director. So if you have any policy questions, I'm happy to answer after the event is over. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bria Archie. I am the administrative assistant in the District 4 office. I streamline everything that comes into the office, and I appreciate you all coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kiara Ebron. I serve as the Legislative and Special Projects Coordinator for District 4. My primary field right now is handling all of the grants and sponsorships that come in the council for District 4, but I handle other things as well.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Mitchell. I'm Councilmember Adams' Director of Constituent Services and Municipal Outreach. So I'm the person that you will call when you have concerns about 311, you have concerns about stormwater management, you have concerns about public safety, sidewalks, other issues in regards to proposed development. So I look forward to assisting you anytime that you call the office. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cameron Evans. I'm the Administrative Support Coordinator for District 4 for Councilmember Tim Adams. Second week on the job, so I'm looking forward to hearing all your guys' concerns, questions, everything like that, taking notes and be able to make sure we all take care of the issues and services that you guys are asking for.
Thank you, Cameron.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Lopez. I'm the Community Outreach and Engagement Manager. So I'll be the one that you'll be seeing a lot of in the field as well.
Thank you, Carlos. Hey, thank you all because they do a great job in trying to make sure that our constituents are safe.
And Councilmember Adams, we did have one more person that would like to come up and ask a question,
Okay.
if that's okay?
Yes.
All right. Miss Laurel Hooper? Okay, thank you so much.
I could have written my question, but this is fine as
This
well.
is fine.
My issue deals with the amount of trash and debris along 301. And I was just curious, what is the process for getting the trash picked up? I know it's a county road, but it is really an eyesore, especially at 301 in Pointer Ridge and 301 in Mitchellville Road. And what's fascinating, as you drive into Crofton, it changes. You don't see nearly as much trash. So that's my issue, just the amount of debris and litter along 301
Mhm.
and the ramps off of 197 onto 50 or Central Avenue.
Yeah, and Kim, before you go ahead, that's a state road, but one of the things that we have discussed with the state when they came before the council is that they would make extra stops to clean up. They had a schedule, and we talked about this issue, and they said they would be doing, adding, coming back to those particular spots a lot more. That they were going to put it into their.
Did they
And I
define?
don't think they have.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I wonder how they
I'll
defined
let-
a
I'll-
lot more because I'll see the same trash for 3 weeks in a row, and it's
We'll let
unacceptable.
delegate go at
Yeah,
that one.
we can definitely talk afterwards so I can make sure I understand exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I will say this, it has gotten better, because this was an issue that I had raised a lot with Ms. Watson as well. So I know she was doing something to ensure that they came out on a more regular basis.
Yeah,
But then it got really bad again.
and we also have a monthly call with State Highway. Actually, it's initiated by Senator Charles, who's in District 25. But all of the districts chime in on his call because he has access to State Highway, and whatever they put on that list, they address. And if they don't address it, they say why. They actually even will tell you why they think the litter is there. I know I was a part of a call some years ago. Actually, it wasn't that long ago, maybe a year ago. And the issue was that the trash trucks were overfilled. And the trash was actually spilling out of the trash trucks. And, that's a function of the fact that, we're we got a lot of trash and we only have 1 day pickup in some of our areas. So yeah.
Yeah. And the last thing I would like to say, I would like to see more community litter pickup events. That was something that Councilwoman Watson did. I participated in those, and it's it's a good way to
Yeah.
take pride in your community.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
With your permission, Councilmember Adams, one other person decided they'd like to ask a question. Okay,
That's why we're here.
okay. The next speaker is Miss Janice Brogdon.
I've got 3 questions in a row, so I'll just shoot them out there.
Okay.
So the money that was taken from the park and planning budget that was spent elsewhere in the county, where was it spent? What was it spent on? And will you have to pay it back? Because I'm aware that I believe the governor put something in the budget somewhere that you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
So that's
I
my
can
first
handle-
question.
But-
Okay.
All right. We'll want us to wait till the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Okay. Second question. What's being done about bringing new businesses, particularly to Bowie, such as anchor stores and restaurants? Because Bowie Mall looks terrible. Everything is running to gambrels like crazy. So that's an issue. And then third is what is being done to prevent a data center from being built, particularly here in Bowie and in PG County? And if so, what's going to be done to offset those costs? Because my utility bill, all of them, gas, electric, and water, are skyrocketing. And I'm one person. So I have an issue with all those things. So those are my questions. Thank you.
I will let Congressman Olson.
I appreciate the.
County Council Member Olson. Hey, I'm still transitioning. Go ahead.
So on your first question, there you are. So it's going to sound a little bit. The money went to the same purpose as what it was identified for. Okay, so in the park and planning budget, there are things called project charges. Okay, and they're reimbursable to nonprofits that do work, like working with kids or working with different nonprofit things. There were some that could not. So there's parts of the county that, like in my area of the county, nonprofits, a lot of them do have the funding to be able to, upfront the costs, and then, then they get reimbursed. In other areas of the county, though, a lot of nonprofits are not that well, funded. So this was toward the end of the fiscal year. Those funds were then, and it used to be administered by the Community Foundation, which is a big nonprofit in the county. But then we'd have to pay like $1 million in administrative fees for them to process that. The county council actually, for a certain number of those, that were the money that was transferred out of park and planning, was then transferred to the council administration to then go to those nonprofits that were already identified to get that funding, but they were at risk of not getting that funding. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay.
So, yep, project charges from park and planning. Yes. Yeah. Right. So it's still going to them, but it's just going through a different process to them. So project charges have always, and I've been in, my first election was 2006. There was project charges back then. So project charges aren't new. But what happened here was that those nonprofits that were already voted for in the budget to go to those nonprofits, but then they weren't going to be able to receive that funding because of the reimbursements and all that. So the money went into the council administration to then be given to those nonprofits. Now, yes, in the state budget, they said, we can't make changes midway through the year anymore. And so we will comply with that. I mean, that's the law now. So that's fine, you know, yeah. That was your first question. I don't know, the second, I don't know if you wanted to take a stab at the other questions, but there's data centers and the other one was. Oh, restaurants and anchor stores. I'll just say very quickly that Ingrid Watson is now the president of the Economic Development Corporation, and I know she has been working with each one of us about attracting retail, and I know they go to a big conference with all the retailers to try to attract them. So I know this is definitely on her radar, but you answered. Answer further.
Yeah,
You may
and,
know
you
more
know,
specifically about
You know,
that.
but we're just trying to make sure that we assist and do economic development as we do here. But one of the things I do want to say is it's those issues that you talked about, some of them today, that make a difference. And that's why we need to hear it. When Kim said, make sure you when Delegate Taylor said, when you when Delegate Taylor said, give her a call, give her the information. That's important. You know, when we talk about trash, when we talk about the quality of life, how things look and what we can do, that's important that we address those. And so those are the kind of things that will also help to draw new business, to make sure that we have a community that looks like somewhere you'd like to put your business. You know, I'm not a big fan of data centers because I haven't really seen any of the new changes that they've talked about. And what I mean by that, some of the data centers have said, well, we can be totally enclosed where there's no water, no air, nothing that could pollute, that we could be self-contained, that we could pay for every utility cost and water cost. And they propose some ways to do it, but I haven't seen where those are exactly science that we want to follow right now. And I know there are a lot of people who see good opportunity for us with that. So we just need to make sure that we keep our community safe and that we make sure that when we do things, we do it based on, make it data driven. Let's make sure we look at what's right. I think my colleague will agree with that, and I think my state delegate.
I don't necessarily really want to comment on the data center thing, but I will. We need data centers. Do we need them in Bowie? Not necessarily. But for all of the streaming, all of the gaming, all of the movies we watch, all of the AI, it has to be housed somewhere. Somebody has to drive that. I used to work in a data center in 1988 in Philadelphia. Data centers are not new. They've always been around. Now, have I seen with my own eyes these new constructs of data centers that purport to have their own power,
Right.
to be environmentally friendly? I haven't seen it, but they say that they're there, which is why on the state level, we have a study for data centers. And they will decide with the right people on this study if it is true that there can be a safely, a data center that is built safely, that environmentally, not necessarily friendly, but not environmentally detrimental, will not be a hog on our grid, which is a big issue right now. So that's what the study is for. And I don't recall when the study's report is due, but if you reach out to me, I can find out from my office.
apparently what happened is that what came out of the meeting was that I guess it was the previous county council had fast tracked the options to build a data center so they didn't have to have studies, they didn't have to go through certain committees or whatever it was they were supposed to go through. They fast tracked it and because even at the table that we were sitting at, it turned out that the guy that was supposed to be monitoring our table to figure out all the questions that we were asking turned out to work for, he was an architect for one of the data centers, and one of the guys at our table found that out, and all heck crap came up.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but the fact that the county council already fast tracked
I
it.
think
and
So
they
wait,
nipped
wait,
that
wait,
in the
we,
bud.
yeah, so
They
so
nipped
this
that.
yeah,
council,
that's an issue.
Yeah,
so
they
this
nipped
council repealed that.
right.
Because that
Okay.
happened on the prior council,
Completely?
before he and I were there. Before he and-
Completely repealed it since.
We've
what was it?
repealed that. Yeah, there will not be a fast tracking of
Okay,
data centers.
okay,
No,
that's
there needs
good.
to be public input. There needs to be,
Absolutely,
has to
yes.
go through all the
Okay.
processes that any other development has to go through.
That's what I
But
wanna hear. Thank you.
previously, yes, that was
Thank you for
voted,
that.
yes.
I appreciate
No, we hear you.
Yeah, in terms of your energy costs, I just opened a bill for a property that we own, and the electric bill was $1,100. It had been 500, 400. It's 11. I mean, I almost cried. Um, so on the state level, I mean, we did a lot. One of the first things we did was address what we could do to save our constituents some money, and that was to pull out bonuses and different superfluous kind of expenses that were rolled into the rates. Make sure that that doesn't happen anymore in Maryland. Will that be a significant savings? No. From what I hear from the energy companies, it will translate to about $3. Right. So that's one thing. But we tried to do something.
Right.
Our utility relief bill, that effort is proposed to save you at minimum $150 a year, right? It could be more, and it actually looks like it's going to be more because the electric companies have now pulled out of their intention to increase rates. So all the pressure that we put on them, our governor, PJM, I don't know if you're familiar with PJM, we only produce 40% of our power in Maryland. Our power grid is a function or supports, I think, about 13 states, and PJM serves as sort of a broker for energy, and you're actually bartering for energy. And if you don't have a lot of not power, but you know, your rates are higher, and that's what's been happening here in Maryland. Our infrastructure is old. It needs to be replaced. You know, you're seeing some of that in Bowie with the water. And it had not been addressed over years. So now we have those costs. So I'm not going to go into this totally. I know I'm taking up too much time. But, you know, in fact, may I announce on Friday? On Friday, your District 23 team will be in this exact same space from 5:30 to 7:30. So you're welcome to come back out and ask. We can answer a lot more of your questions. And it's not a listening session. It's actually, we're going to try to answer, and we're going to talk to you about some of the bills that we passed during the General Assembly session. So anyway, although I enjoy this format too.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You have a question? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. I have a wondering question. We reside in 12 Oaks neighborhood off of Central Avenue and Church Road before the Tanglewood School. And it's unclear why that 1.5-mile stretch can't be widened from the school towards Central Avenue when you get to the first entrance of Central Avenue. We've lost too many lives. Serious car collisions have happened. There's constant debris that is coming into the roads. The trees are falling down. If it rains too hard, over to the right-hand side, there's a constant overflow. When you call 311 to come out, it may be weeks later before you get a response. Constant light patching, if you want to consider it a patch at all. And the greatest concern is this has been going on as far as I know of, living in the neighborhood of 12 Oaks since 2015. The response that I keep getting is that's either a park and planning concern or that's a Bowie concern. Our concern is when are we going to support the lives of people that's traveling that part of the road every day? Too many lives are lost, cars are damaged, and there is no immediate response as though there is a concern. How can you help us?
So without getting too far in the weeds, but I will say that that is an issue that we are now talking about. And I will let you go ahead on and address it, please.
Thank you, Councilmember Adams. Again, Denise Mitchell, I'm Councilmember Adams, Director of Constituent Services. In regards to, young lady had already talked to me about this. Councilmember Adams is looking at doing a traffic study for many parts of District 4 to assess the public safety issues that many of you have addressed. And this is one of the main concerns that he has. Once we get the report back, Councilmember Adams will take a review and talk to the communities respectively regarding the next steps. So please note that we do hear you and we are making this a considered effort as one of his top priorities in his council as far as his term in office.
Hey, thank you. All right.
Okay. It looks like we are getting ready to close out the question and answer. Was there one last person? All righty. So I'm going to ask you to come up. We don't have a clock, but we're going to say 2 minutes so that we can do a wrap up. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I only have 30 minutes. So.
Go ahead, Harvey.
First of all, I just have first of all, thank you for your service, Councilman Adams, Councilman Olds. Thank you. I always said politicians, you get 90% of all the complaints and 2,000% of all the work that comes behind it. Thank you for your service. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I want to know what strategic plan are we operating up under? Is it an update ongoing? Are we haven't got to the update yet, or which one are we operating on? I just like to know for my own satisfaction. Are you involved on hiring the new CEO for the schools? Or are you not involved, or is that the board? Is that the education? Is that the county executive? I think you should be involved, but it was taken away years ago. You really need to be involved on that. Data center, somebody already addressed that. Can we get a heads up on tax increases if you have them? The problem I have with our state delegates and senators is I went to renew my tags and I used to pay $135 for 2 years. They said, no, it only covers 1 year now. I said, what happened? They said the legislature raised it. They didn't give us any indication. So if you're going to raise taxes or fees are going up, please give us some indication of that. Water bills. Some of the people in southern Bowie, their water bills all of a sudden have gone from 800 to 8,000, 7,000, and people are starting to complain. So you probably need to coordinate with WSSC on that one because that's just astronomical. That's just non-doable, non-feasible. Airbnbs and pay for parties. Airbnbs is one thing, but the pay for parties, we had a big problem on that 2 years ago, and hopefully you're addressing that. But anyway, thank you for your service. You're doing a great job, and thank you for taking all of our concerns.
Thank you. Hey, I'd simply like to say thank you to all of you. You know, one of the things that I started out, and if you don't mind me just going, is we wanted to do listening sessions. And the reason for the listening sessions is we want to hear about those things that may not rise up to the level at times. We want to hear from you about what your concerns are, and we can address them. You know, I'm happy to be able to sit here with my staff and we just get the input from you about what's going on in our communities, making sure that we address it. You know, and I thank you for taking the time out in this weather to be out here. But it's important because we need to make sure we share with you what we're doing. And one of the things I told someone, and I'll say it again, is anything I do, even on the county council, I'll put it out there, my rationale, why I'm doing it. So if anybody finds, fault with it, or if I've gone wrong somewhere, you can address it, and I will appreciate it. Because I want to make sure that I get it right. So please, know that we're there, that I know I want to make sure that I address all of your issues. And that's why we're having a listening session, to make sure of that. So thank you so very, very much for being here, because you don't know how much that impacts us, but also our community as a whole. So thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Olson,
Mr. Olson.
if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to defer back. But before we do that, one quick thing, the Chief of Staff, Siobhan, would like to come forward and make the constituents aware of upcoming events. And then I'm going to yield back to Councilmember Adams for final remarks and Councilmember Olson as well. And I'd like to thank everyone for your patience this evening with one another and with us. Taking the time to actually hear one another, really just pushes us forward. So thank you.
Good evening again, everyone. Thank you again for being here. I just want to be sure that on your way in, you picked up the two flyers we have here. And I know that you hopefully signed in on our sheet as well to ensure that you're getting up-to-date emails about all of our upcoming events. We've been busy at work since Councilmember Adams has been in. Not only, obviously, he hasn't talked much about his accomplishments so far, but, from the 26 pieces of legislation he's co-sponsored to 3 that he's already co-proposed. We also have been on the road and trying to create and partner with other organizations on events that we think the community has been asking for. So one of those groups of events are a series of job fairs that we've been partnering with Employ PG on. And tomorrow we are having one called Apprenticeship Fest, and that will be in Lanham. So there is a flyer about that. So we hope that you will come out. The county exec will also be there. Our team will be there. There's supposed to be over 1,000 participants. We will also have our own Just for Bowie in June, right here in Bowie. So you'll hear more on that coming up. We do have a District 4 scholarship. So any of your young folks who are high school seniors and graduating and accepted, it doesn't have to be college, it could be trade school. We do want to make sure that you don't miss the deadline for May 15th, that they don't miss the deadline to apply for our scholarship. The other items that we did want to make you aware of, it's spring cleaning time. We'll be doing some shredding events right here at Kenhill Center on May 9th. Bring all your paper and, all of the things that you want to get rid of on May 9th. And we'll send some updates on that out this week as well as on May 30th at our spring resource fair at the Franklin Park Apartments, a little further away for some of you who are not near Greenbelt. We'll also have another opportunity for shredding there as well in May. HOA, I know there's a few folks here from HOAs. We will be doing a leadership roundtable for HOAs at the end of this month, at the end of May. We're almost in May, at the end of May as well, and a senior lawn care program that we are also launching. So you can, go ahead and nominate some of your favorite seniors who you'd like to get some help with their lawn. So the age, well, we're not discriminating, but we'll send some details out. Thanks for asking that question. So Was it 65? 65. It should be 65 and up. So we'll get some details more on that as well. I think that is it for right now. The senior luncheons and breakfasts that we've been launching at the various senior communities. If you live in one of those communities, you will certainly hear about them. And then the one in Greenbelt is also in May of this month is also going to be distributed by the Greenbelt Community Center to any of the residents there as well. So we're on the move, and we thank you very much again for coming, and feel free to reach out to our office for any details on any of these upcoming events. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Thank you.
one quick thing. So there are no proposed new taxes in the county budget. So we got to make sure to say that. So that's I'm sure you're glad to hear that. On the nuisances, I know we talked about that a little bit. We last year we were able to successfully request the General Assembly to increase the ability for us to increase fines. It had been set at a maximum of $1,000 for like the last 30 or 40 years. Obviously, that has declined in value over all those years. So now we have the ability to set a maximum fine of $5,000, and that is, that is significant because we want to get these scofflaws. We want to get the people who are, renting out houses just for the purpose of having these massive parties and promoters coming in and all that. So we are actively addressing that to really go after them and find them seriously. So just wanted to mention those two things. It's been a pleasure for me to spend the evening here with you, Councilmember Adams, and with all of your constituents here. Great questions, and anytime I can be helpful to you, I will be. So
And
thank you.
I'd like for us to give a round of applause to County Council Member Olson, because he took the time to be here. And we've got a good partnership going and working and trying to do things. So let's give him a quick round. Thank you. And I think we're about at the end. I'm always willing. Delegate, is there any last remark you'd like to make? Friday. Okay. Yeah, well, it's been our pleasure. Again, I'd like to say, we can't get our jobs done if you don't do your job. And your job is making sure we know what's going on in our communities, making sure that you are engaged and can help us. Your being here matters so much because when we hear from you, we know what's going on. We know what we need to address. Even more than what we get on 311 or 911, but we can hear from you, the constituents. This is our community, and we want to make sure we make it the best we can. So again, thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for taking the time, and God bless by my faith, and be safe tonight, because it may still be a little wet out there. Good night.